settled and to turn up, let's just settle into our meditation posture. So just again, remembering your legs, feet flat on the floor in a parallel position. And if you can't reach the floor, or if your legs are hanging down in a weird angle, put a cushion under there. And if you're sitting on just in a normal cross-legged position, you can maybe put some cushions underneath your knees and prop your coccyx up with a cushion. And that way we then have a nice straight pelvis, and that then actually does help to straighten the spine. Next thing, just to remember the hips and the shoulders are aligned. Let's go back to the postures. So the next is the hands of the meditation mudra with the thumbs touching. Head is slightly tipped forward. The eyes are down, looking along the nose. And if you were looking at, if your eyes were open, you would be looking at a spot ahead, about 2 inches ahead of you. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and just relax the mouth. The lips can be open, just slightly apart. Sorry. Now just can take a bit of a breath if you want. Just relax all the busyness of the day. And as we're going through all these bits and pieces, sort of just settling the body, maybe just bring to mind something that you might, maybe something happened today. So maybe just, it's a very much an internal private process, this one. So just if there's something that you wish to work on, be your own therapist. Anyway, let's go to the crown of the head. Just relax the crown of the head, the scalp and the forehead, the eyes, and the back of the eyes, the cheeks, and the nose, the jaw, the mouth, and the lips. And just move to the back of the head and relax the scalp. And the ears. Imagine if you were going to go inside your ear and relax the inner ear. And then just notice how when you do that, the whole face relaxes all over again. Relax the back of the neck and the shoulders, the back, your throat and the chest, the belly, arms, hands and fingers, and the legs, and the feet and the toes. So let's just bring to mind the breath. So as you're breathing in, just very gently breathing in, slow, steady breaths, and you'll notice slightly cooler air as you're breathing in, flowing in through the outside of the nostrils. And as you're breathing out, the air is slightly warmer. Just bring the mind to the breath. If there's any external noises in your environment, any sounds, allow them to be there. The mind is starting to get a little bit busy. Try not to follow the thoughts. Take off down some track, you've disappeared somewhere. Keep the mind on the breath. Try not to judge yourself. Have opinions. Just allow the thoughts to arise and to fall. And bring the mind to the breath. We motivate this evening. We're doing this Vajrasattva practice, a purification practice. And we're doing it in order to, excuse me just 1 second. We're doing this practice in order to purify our negative karma so that we no longer have to deal with suffering in the future. And so we can be a benefit to others and improve our practice and our minds and ourselves as we become better and better, reaching our full potential. So just to remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a psychological process, what we're doing here. And we've created negativity with our mind. So we're going to create positivity with our mind. We're going to counteract it. And we do this purification process in the context of the four opponent powers. So the first of these is regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of a specific action of the body or the speech, something that maybe happened today or this week. And then generally maybe all negativities. And perhaps even the ones that you don't necessarily remember. And remembering the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. Given that we experience everything in this life due to our past karma, our past actions, when we harm others, we are going to necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we know from our present suffering and unpleasant experiences that we don't want any more of that. So the logic, therefore, is to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering. So just think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, because I do not want their future suffering. And I'm sick of suffering. So we'll also regret all the anger and the attachment and all the rest of the delusions, which are the cause of why we harm others, and think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then we think, whom can I turn to? So here we have this beautiful Vajrasattva. So we rely on the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. And visualize Guru Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And he's this kind of brilliant, radiant, white light, translucent, dynamic, almost like a hologram. And you can imagine this is the mind of your guru, your teacher, your trusted Lama, manifesting in this way for your benefit. And you can imagine he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, again, sitting in a cross-legged on a lotus. And he's wearing the robes of the royal style. So there's beautiful silks and jewelry, this kind of all blowing in the wind, again made of light. There's this beautiful radiant face and these lotus-like eyes. They're very peaceful and full of love and compassion. And his mouth is very red, very sweet red mouth. And his hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right, and the left holding a bell representing wisdom, the right holding a vajra representing the indestructibility of compassion. And there being crossed represents the union of these. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So there's two little aspects here. The second one is compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely on beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us. And we try to develop compassion for them. So first of all, think of someone that you've harmed recently and in the past. And then maybe generally all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think of maybe someone who's harmed you and have compassion for them because they will suffer as a result of the harm that they've done to you. So let's make a strong aspiration to do this practice for the sake of all sentient beings and just think I must purify for their sake. So the next is the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, the doing of the practice of purification. And there's the first thing we do is we purify the body. So just imagine Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white light, nectar, coming very forcefully, very strongly from his heart. It arcs around and enters your crown, and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps coming, flowing in, and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And pours out of you and disappears into space. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So now be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could be anything other than of benefit to others with your body. So every time they see you, every time they smell you, every time they feel you, is great benefit to them. So the next is the purification of the speech. And again, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and again, quite forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body. And this time, forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. And so, just as LAMA YESHE says, when you turn a tap on in the sink and fill a dirty glass, all the junk in the glass comes to the top and overflows. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the lying, talking badly about others behind their backs. And all this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you. And we recite the mantra as we visualize this. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepi Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa, Sudokaya Mebawa, Subokayo Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Sawasidi Mimbi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum, ha 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 ho, Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Subokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mimbi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Subokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yasa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahazamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Subokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yasa Sawa Kama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yasa Sawa Kama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mudza Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than be of benefit with others, to others with your speech. So every time they hear your sweet voice, it benefits them. So the purification of the mind, Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately now sending powerful light this time from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your heart chakra and fills your entire being. And just as LAMA YESHE says, when you go into a room and you switch on a light, the light dispels the darkness in the room. So in the same way, when the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart, it dispels all the darkness of the mind. So all the attachment and the neediness and the anger and the depression, anxiety and resentment and jealousy and bitterness and all the grudges, all instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahumpe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, all gone. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So just imagine Guru Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. That's the simplest way to visualize. Or if you're up for it, you can visualize the previous three visualizations of the body, speech, and mind, either simultaneously or one after the other. It's up to you, whatever you feel you can manage. And so just imagine as the light is filling you, the light and the nectar, whichever one you're doing, it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind, just washes them completely away. As you recite the mantra, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebe Yasa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Supakaya Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Supakaya Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Musa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supakaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebeyata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So the fourth of the four opponent powers is the power of resolve. So this step is such a crucial one, and this determination not to harm with our body and our speech and our mind again. And without this, we're going to keep doing the same old things, same old stuff, same old habits. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm again it's like a beacon that guides us. As Lama Rinpoche says, everything exists on the tip of the wish. So we wish, we make a decision. So we decide we're going to refrain from the things that we feel that we can refrain from. that are harmful. And we try to do it in a timely manner, so don't over exaggerate what we think we're capable of doing right now. So we just take baby steps. So if we bite our nails, for example, and we can only manage to not do that for about 5 minutes, then that's it. Or if we have negative self-talk, maybe we can only manage that for not doing that for about 30 seconds. Or if we have the habit to just sort of talk nonstop, perhaps we will say, I won't talk nonstop between the time I go to bed and the time I wake up tomorrow morning. And then we won't. We'll keep those promises to ourselves. We try not to lie to ourselves. And then in general, make a vow to try and avoid the others. So we just don't make it too heavy. Just do what we can. And then don't beat ourselves up if we don't quite make it. Just pull it back a bit to what's manageable. So this determination not to do again is it's what gives us the strength to change. We just decide. So to conclude, Guru Vajrasattva is really delighted with us. And so wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And just think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So Lama Rinpoche next recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no negative karma created, and there is no action of creating negative karma. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for just a little while. So we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can think of things as being dependent arisings. This depends on that in order to come into existence. And then you can think perhaps also based on the way our body is structured, we perceive the world according to the way we are structured. And that might give us a hint that perhaps things don't exist necessarily the way we perceive them. Perhaps they exist differently than the way we think. Okay, so let's just dedicate. So just finally, let's dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you have created by doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So Mary, I think, do we have the 4 immeasurables there? Immeasurable equanimity. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in equanimity, free from the closeness of attachment and the distance of hatred. May they abide in equanimity. I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. Immeasurable loving kindness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to achieve Buddhahood. May they achieve Buddhahood. I myself will cause them to achieve Buddhahood. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. Immeasurable compassion. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And immeasurable joyfulness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation. May they never be separated from these. I myself will cause them never to be separated from these. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. Okay. And immeasurable joyful. Didn't we? Okay. As again, the long life prayers now. For His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And then for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serves as the bountiful bearer of all sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjanas' victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honoring the three jewels, savor of myself and others, your disciples. Please, please live long. For Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students towards wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. And there we go. Now we can go to bed with a happy mind. One more day gone. One day closer to death, they say. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, lots
Venerable
of love, everybody. So lovely to see you all.
Venerable. Thank you.
Take care.